Okay, it's 7 p.m. Looks like we have everyone here now. I think Brittany just joined us. So with that, we will call the meeting to order. So this is the Town of Farragut Visual Resources Review Board for June 2020. So the first item on the agenda that we will begin with would be the approval of the minutes from the May 2020 meeting.
Okay.
At this point, we'll go through and ask if anyone has any questions, comments regarding the minutes from May that the staff may be able to answer. So I'll go down the line real quick here. Mr. Armstrong, any comments?
No comments.
Mr. Commercy?
No comment.
Ms. Hollyfield?
No comment.
Mr. Freeman?
No comment.
Ms. Moore?
No comment.
Alderman Pinchot?
No comment.
And Ms. Stowe?
No comment.
All right. Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. I believe that was from Cindy. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Hollyfield.
This is Ron. I'll second it.
Okay, and then we had a second, Alderman Pinchot. We're going to do the roll call vote on that, so that'll be led by Mr. Hose.
Okay, Mr. Armstrong,
Aye.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Holyfield,
Yes.
Mr. Komarski,
Yes.
Mr. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Pinchot,
Yes.
and Ms. Stowe, I should say.
Yes.
Okay, it was unanimous.
All right, so we'll move down to the second item on the agenda, which is the ground-mounted sign applications. This is for the Kroger Pharmacy / Walgreens Health Beauty panel there at the Brooklawn location, Campbell Station Exchange Development, on an existing ground-mounted sign there at Campbell Station Exchange. And so with that, I'll turn it over to staff for comments.
Okay, this is a tenant panel on the ground sign that's along the Kingston Pike frontage. The board previously approved a similar similar tenant panel for the sign that was located near the intersection of Brooklawn Drive and South Campbell Station Road. And there was a misunderstanding or an error on the part of the original applicant. And I guess they thought, that approval would cover both signs, but it didn't. We've been working with a new sign company to try to rectify some of the permitting in there, and they're making some changes to the signage on the actual wall of the Kroger. So we wanted them to clean up the permitting for this one. This is a tenant panel. It's actually already installed. If you've been past to look at it, it's physically already on the sign. But again, we wanted to make sure that we had a good permit record on it. So we could recommend approval of this.
All right. I'll go down the list and ask for any questions from board members. Mr. Armstrong, any questions, comments?
No questions.
Mr. Komarski?
No question.
Ms. Hollyfield?
No comment, no question.
Mr. Freeman?
No questions.
Ms. Moore?
No questions.
Alderman Pinchot?
No questions.
Ms. Stowe?
No questions. It looks good.
All right. With that, is there a motion from the board?
I'll make a motion to accept the sign as is.
This is
We have a
Ron.
motion by,
I'll second.
we have a motion by Ms. Stowe and a second by Alderman Pinchot. We'll take a roll call vote now, led by staff. Nope, I'm ahead of myself. I'm ahead of myself, aren't I? I need to ask
Excuse
first if the applicant is present. Is there anyone on here that is an applicant for this sign? All right, hearing none. Do we have any citizen comments that need to be read? Sounds like none. Okay, so there's
Hear me?
been
I'm
no
having,
addition-
our video is stalling out because of bandwidth here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Yes, I see your video and we can hear you. Although I think we just lost you.
Or you may consider maybe turn off
Okay,
your video. It'll
can
allow
y'all
you
hear
to
me?
present your-
Yeah, go ahead, Trevor. Turn off
gonna
my
say-
video.
Maybe turn off your
Okay,
video.
let me-
Still
let
allow
me
you to
do
present
that,
The
'cause-
PowerPoint, but that'll save your bandwidth for audio.
Okay, I just turned off my video, so good enough. Okay, so I'll do the roll call vote on that. Mr. Armstrong,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Hollyfield,
Yes.
Mr. Komersky,
Yes.
Mr. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Pinchok,
Yes.
and Ms. Stowe.
Yes.
Okay, so that was another all in favor vote, so.
Okay. We'll move down to the next item on the agenda, which is also the ground mounted sign applications. That would be the One Life Church in East Tennessee Spine and Sport Tennis Panel. That's on the West End Center sign. And with that, I'll turn it over to staff for comment.
Okay, we got this request in about 2 weeks ago. They want to split that vacant tenant panel between two different applicants within that center. It's the large sign along Kingston Pike. They sort of put in the application just to get the discussion going. It really wasn't a full application. I had asked them to get some additional information. We're probably going to have to work with the property owner. I think we'll probably have to have that, that tenant panel, either divided in half with a red line, similar to make it look proportional to the rest of the sign. But they're aware of all that, but they have not been back in touch with us since our initial conversation. So, the materials that were submitted weren't really a full application. I gave them an opportunity to try to get it, fully fleshed out, but we still haven't heard back from them. So at this point, I would just recommend that the action be deferred until such time as they, submit all the adequate materials for applying for what they want there, which is essentially two tenant panels. They'll be looking at dividing that into two separate tenant panels.
All right. So with that, I'll go down the list of board members and ask if you have comments or questions of staff. So we'll begin again, Mr. Armstrong.
No comment.
Mr. Camarsi,
No comment.
Ms. Hollyfield,
Yes, I have a comment. Have we had any that have split? I don't remember any of them that we've split the panels like this.
I don't know whether you've ever done that in the past. I know we have tenant panels that are divided, that way, but sort of, for the initial, design of the sign. But if I don't see any reason why they can't do it under the code. It would just be a matter of, making the sign look right, making it look proportional, and ensuring that the individual sign messages are visible and are legible. But That's why we want to get with most of the separate businesses and also the, the owner of West End Center and make sure that it's done in sort of a consistent manner because, once we go down that route, I could see where they may split other ones as well. So,
Okay, that's what I was wondering. You are going to talk to the businesses also, to see if everybody's in agreement with this.
well, not every single business in the center. I
The
think
ones on the panels.
Yeah, the
Okay.
One Life Church and the Spine and Sport. We want to talk to both of them and make sure that that their designs are going to be
Compatible.
something they can both live with.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, Mr. Freeman,
I have no comment.
Ms. Moore, Alderman Pinchot.
Yeah, I've got a question. Are we dealing with one sign company here or two on these two locations?
That's actually one of the issues that we had with the initial application is they weren't working with a sign company yet. It was actually just someone from the church that I think photoshopped that in, and again, they were just trying to start a discussion and sort of get their foot in the door, and in terms of going about making an application for something like this. And one of the things that I suggested they do is get with one of the sign companies that does work here in town and sort of knows what we're looking for, and for them to go ahead and put together a full application package.
Well, I agree. I think we got a long way to go with these two signs, so I'm all for deferring.
Okay, Ms. Stowe.
When I look at that, I see a mismatch. I mean, One Life stands out very well. Spine and Sport does not. And if I were looking for that particular facility, this wouldn't particularly help me find it. So it seems like there needs to be more of a balance between the Spine and Sport and the One Life. In all fairness to Spine and Sport, you just don't see it. You don't, I mean, maybe they could make their Spine and Sport a little bigger than all the other stuff in between. But I definitely agree with deferring it, because when you start doing that, then you're going to have to make sure everybody's on board with it looking that way. But looking at it right now, to me, it just looks like totally mismatched. So that's just my opinion, and I would vote to definitely defer it.
All right, thank you. I'll concur with everyone as well. I think the Spine and Sport, especially, that design might work well on a business card, but on the sign, to me, it doesn't work well. I don't know how large those letters are, but that's a large space on that sign. I think you could do a really good job there of making your name bigger and enabling people who are coming down Kingston Pike to see it better, especially with a split sign. So I agree that I think deferring this until they can get a sign company and do some of the other things would be an appropriate approach here.
Marty,
Yeah.
I think even, can I speak, Marty?
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Stowe.
Okay. I think even if they took everything off and just put Spine and then the and mark in the middle and then Sport on the bottom, then that would balance and match more of the One Life. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I think they have a lot to think about on that. Absolutely. Okay, so at this point, everybody's had an opportunity. So do we have a motion and a second on this item?
I move to defer this.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion to defer by Alderman Pinchot and a second to that motion by Ms. Moore. At this point, is there anyone on here with us that represents the applicant? All right, sounds like no one's here. Do we have any staff, do we have any comments from citizens?
No, we don't.
All right, hearing that, is there any amendment to the motion? Hearing none, if staff would then provide a roll call vote.
Okay. Mr. Armstrong,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes, yes,
Ms. Hollyfield,
Yes.
Mr. Komarski,
yes,
Mr. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Pinchuk,
Yes.
and Ms. Stowe.
Yes.
Okay, that was also a unanimous vote.
All right, so we'll move down the agenda to item number 3, landscape plan applications. This involves Admiral's Corner at 11321 Kingston Pike. That's under construction now at the corner of Campbell Station Road and Kingston Pike. And with that, I'll turn it over to staff for comments.
Okay, this is a small amendment to the landscape plan that you've previously approved for this site. They're making some changes to the site design itself, and it impacted the landscaping plan that you had previously reviewed and approved, and that there was enough of a change that we thought that we should at least bring it back to y'all and let you see what the change is, and just go on the record for it. It really involves mostly the entrance area. And what I've done is I've got 2 more slides in here for the things I emailed out to you today that show the what the plan was prior to this that was approved, and then what this does. And let me try to advance this. So this is the previously approved plan, and you can see that they had quite a bit of landscaping right in. Let me get this pen thing back. A fair bit of landscaping there at the entranceway. That's essentially being eliminated by this plan. What they're doing is they're really expanding their outdoor seating area and sort of gathering space. So this area is being transitioned into sort of a sunken area. It'll actually be below grade. It's going to have a lot of pavers and like AstroTurf type in there that they're going to use for outdoor seating and a gathering space. But it did take out really most of this landscaping right in here. So let me advance, and here's the new plan, and it's still compliant. They've substituted out again some of that landscaping for what's here. They've got some landscaping here on the periphery still, and down in here. This is a landscaped area with a tree in it, but the rest of this now is all going to be sort of a sunken area, for outdoor seating and sort of a gathering space. In fact, they're actually showing like these areas here, these arches there are actually sort of steps, large steps that'll be turfed or have pavers on them that people will be able to sit on if they have someone playing a guitar or something like that. So it's probably a really nice site improvement, but it did impact the landscaping plan. And because of the the elimination of landscaping there at the entrance, we thought we should at least bring it back to y'all and let you know of those changes that they're proposing to do. And again, it's being driven by site plan changes, and those site plan changes are also going to be run back through the Planning Commission.
All right, we'll go down again and call board members by name to see if you have any questions of staff. We'll start this time with Ms. Stowe.
I have no questions.
All right, Alderman Pinchot.
Yes, I do have a question. I was looking at the landscape area from the original plan, and it was almost 2,000 square feet, and it was 1966 actually. And then the new one, the revised one, has less than 500. So what you're telling us is that the amount of shrubbery landscaping has been reduced by 75% so that we have more seating. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I'm not exactly sure what number you're referring to in terms of the reduction in landscaping. You know, that really the only changes to the landscaping from this plan that, you know, that you're seeing is, let me,
Go back to the previous one, the newest plan with the bubble, yellow bubble on it.
okay, sure. Let me. There we go.
If you look in the top right corner of the bubble, within the bubble, it says there 467 square feet of landscaping. In that same spot on the original plan, it said there was almost 2,000 square feet of landscaping. So if we're reducing the landscaping from 2,000 square feet to 500 square feet, are they picking up that much more in outdoor seating? That's in my mind, I'm trying to grasp what they're doing here.
Again, it's hard for me to see on this.
You see the writing in the top right corner of that bubble? Stay within the bubble.
The top right corner, are you talking about up in here?
Yeah, right there, down just a bit, down just below that, right there.
Okay. What they're showing there is that they're showing 467 square feet of landscaping that they're counting towards their perimeter landscape area. So
On the original plan, right there, they had 2,000 square feet.
well, okay, over here they had 2,000 square feet. I see you're talking about that over there on the original plan, and now they're down to 946. That is merely the amount of landscaping that they were counting to meet the requirement for the landscaping that has to be between the building and the parking lot areas. So there is a reduction from 2,000 to 946. But that's only for one parameter. All the rest of the landscaping that you see on the site is staying. And so really what's being eliminated, if I can go back to the original plan here, and I'm gonna approximate this. They've taken a little bit of landscaping out up in this area to account for a sidewalk area. There's still some in there. They've decreased this perimeter area. They've taken a little bit of that out, not all of it, but they added in some green space here, you know, with a tree. And then they've essentially, it's this that's all coming out. Does that make sense?
It does. I was just wondering, is that area going to be more seating? You said it's going to be like steps where people could sit. It's going to be.
Yeah. Let me go back now.
I mean, I like the idea of having more seating, outdoor seating, and that's why I'm just questioning, are we reducing landscaping so we can get more seating out there, which I think would be great. I'm just.
It'll be more seating, and it'll also be like gathering space. So essentially, you know, what I showed being taken out is now going to be essentially this whole area will now be an outdoor seating and gathering space, and it will tie into a covered semi-outdoor area with like roll-up doors into there. So it'll create a lot of space for them to have seating outside, or if they have, music or something like that, where people can sit on these steps, and then, they could potentially have, uh, someone set up right there playing, or that sort of thing. So yes, they're taking out some landscaping that was, not required by the ordinance, and that was in excess of what you require, and they're creating, really space that they'll be able to use for gathering and seating for their patrons and other events that they have on the site.
Well, I'm all for that. I'm glad they're doing that. I just want to make sure that they still met our minimum requirements. So that's the only question I had. So I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Moore.
Hi, the only question that I have is kind of along the same lines in that area where they are putting those two trees, where it has the, what is Liriope? They call it the creeping lily
Yeah.
turf, but it's Liriope. There, are those beds raised, or are they kind of ground level beds? Because I question the just the hardiness of Liriope in that area, if it is kind of an outdoor space, of it lasting, if that's kind of the only ground covering that's there, for longevity, of being an outdoor open kind of use space if there's a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I can pass that on to them. It's kind of hard to describe this, but that bed you're talking about is probably close to at ground level. So this area through here, it's the seating area that's going to be sunken. It's actually going to be down below grade. So these right here, and this area right there, those are steps down. And this is sort of like a terraced, almost amphitheater-like seating area that goes down. So this area in here is actually set down. It's a sunken area, if that helps any.
Mm-hmm. And then to the right of that, is that also raised where that square is, where that tree, or is it down in the kind of amphitheater recessed area?
You know what? I think it's. I'm not actually sure of that, to be honest with you. I'm initially I thought that it was more at grade, but now I'm wondering if it is or not. So, but
I think I would just say, I'm fine with that being in there, especially now knowing that that's a little raised. If that one corner area is further down, especially just kind of outdoor seating area, as long as I'd be more okay with that one because it's kind of off in the corner, where there probably wouldn't be many people, and it looks like it's in the corner of probably like a retaining wall or however they're going to build that. And so it would probably be more protected.
I think some of it is related to the grading on the site, because I think they're planning like a sidewalk that would run through here, and then there's another access point in here. So I'm not exactly sure how that's all going to work, and that's one of the things we've asked for the planning commission standpoint, is for them to show sort of a before and after of this whole area, so the planning commission can see how it's all going to work together, and access to it's going to flow and that sort of thing. It's just they wanted to get this this approved so they can be out there doing site work, so like I said, the change was enough that we wanted you to be aware of the change that they were making to the landscaping plan, if that helps at all.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany, I think that sidewalk that he just kind of drew in there is right along the edge of the 3 bays for the food trucks. That's got to be at the same level as the food truck. So it must step down from there into that lower area that he's talking about.
At that corner maybe, or somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there would be grading as well down. Okay. So it's probably protected then too if it's up higher. Okay. That was all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good comments. Mr. Freeman, do you have any questions or comments?
I do not have any comments or questions.
Thank you. Ms. Hollyfield?
Yes, too. Did they provide you like any pictures? I mean, this is great, but did they provide you any examples of exactly what they were doing, Bart? Want to do?
I've seen some that, they showed us at a meeting, a while back, but, they didn't submit any with this, and I think they're still fleshing that out with their architect. I think that'll probably all go to the planning commission.
Okay, the
for,
arches and
that.
all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second question is this going to be like that? You keep saying seating. Is it going to be like almost like football cement type seating, or like how do you know how any? I can't get the concept as to what. Is it like small bleachers, or you keep saying steps? So is it almost like the football concrete type seating?
I think these these three things here will be sort of like concrete step downs, where you could walk down them and up on them or sit on them, and then the area all down through here is a mix of pavers, sidewalk, and I think some inlay areas of, like astroturf or like synthetic grass.
Okay, I'm still not sort of able to wrap my mind exactly how it's going. That's the reason I was wondering if they sent some type of picture, but so over on the left, it's going to be like a step down type. You said something about the arch.
Well, they're curved, if you can see.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Not arch. I was thinking, okay. And
Yeah,
so
they're
there, and then there's the turf.
yeah.
And, okay. All right. Thank you. No more comments or questions.
All right. Mr. Camarsi, any questions or comments?
None, thank you.
All right. Mr. Armstrong?
Yeah, I just have a couple of comments. First one is I'm much more concerned about the exterior landscaping as the interior landscaping, and I think it's going to look great. And the second one is with all the food trucks, there is a need for some type of seating or something for people to eat, right? Whatever's at the food trucks or whatever may be in the residential. So I'm all for this, especially with the limited amount of parking. If people have to park at another place, or if you can walk, like I could walk to this site from my home, you would want somewhere to sit down and take some time and enjoy whatever the food trucks may offer. So I love this idea.
All right. I think we had some great comments and questions. I don't have anything further. I think we covered a lot of good topics there. So with that, we will need a motion and a second. Do I have a motion and a second on this landscape plan?
I make a motion that we approve as is.
All right. We have a motion to approve by Mr. Armstrong. How about a second?
I'll second.
All right. We have a second by Ms. Moore. At this point, we'll take the roll call vote if staff would proceed with that.
Okay, Mr. Armstrong,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes,
Ms. Holyfield,
Yes.
Mr. Komarski,
yes,
Mr. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Pinchuk,
Yes.
and Ms. Stowe.
Yes.
Okay, that was another unanimous vote.
All right. Is the applicant for this landscape plan present? Sounds like that's not the case. Are there any citizen comments that need to be read?
No, there weren't any.
All right, with no applicant or citizen comments, I suspect there are no amendments to that motion, but if there are any from the members, please let me know. All right, so I know we kind of got ahead of ourselves, but we did do the vote there and kind of get out of order, but I think we're good on that one, correct, Bart?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so moving on down to the last item on the agenda, it's the appointment of our youth representative for the upcoming 2021 fiscal year. I don't think that Lillian Scott ever joined us tonight, so this would have been her last meeting, and she was nice to have on the board. Glad we had her, but as we know, each year that rotates off, so it's time to look at another youth representative, and we have one in front of us, and I guess for that, do you have some comments, Bart, that you'd like to make on the youth application?
Not really. It's Jake Rogers. I think his application was in your packet. I assume you had a chance to look it over. He was the only applicant for the position this year. So we really just I guess need you to confirm him to serve on the board if you're content with his application.
All right, well, to me, it looked good, but I'll give every board member an opportunity as we have all the other items to ask questions or make comments. So let's go down the list. Mr. Armstrong, questions or comments?
No comment.
Mr. Camarsi?
No comment.
Ms. Hollyfield?
It says here that it's a 2-year term. Am I correct? I thought it's only that they've only been there in the past 1 year. The very bottom on that page is which committees are you interested in? Are we there's it says 2-year term. So is that a 2-year or one? I thought it was a 1 year. You see where I'm talking?
Yeah, I think it's just a 1-year term. That might be a typo on that.
Do you see where I'm
No, I don't, but
It says, which committees are you interested in? It's on his sheet. On his sheet at the bottom. So that was the other reason. It could be if a lot of them thought it was a 2-year, that's one of the reasons that we did not have that one applicant.
I think its youth representative served as a 2-year term on the Farragut Education Relations Committee. I think maybe it's just that committee.
This is Ron. I might want to interject something here. There was discussion about possibly having like a junior come on, and then next year that person would move up to be a senior and then bring another junior on. We were talking at one time, the board was talking about having 2 youth representatives on each committee. That may be where this started. I'm not sure.
We probably need to clarify that though. If this is when they see the 2-year, that probably discouraged some in the past, from because most of the time they're seniors when we've gotten those, I think, in the past. So, yeah.
If I might add, to me, it says that it's a 1-year term for Visual Resources Review Board, and it's a 2-year term only for the Education Relations Committee.
It's my bad.
Yeah.
I see it now. I see the 1 year.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was mine. Sorry, my mistake. Thank you.
You're
No other
welcome.
comments.
All right, any questions or comments for Mr. Freeman?
That was for me. I don't have any questions or comments.
Okay. Ms. Moore?
I don't have any comments. I think it looks good to me.
Alderman Pinchak, any additional comments, questions?
I have none.
And Ms. Stowe?
Well, I think by all means, if the young man's interested, and if maybe he even read it 2 years and is still interested, we sure need to appoint him.
Agreed. I think if he's interested, we should absolutely do so. So I guess at this point, Bart, we just need to do a roll call vote, I guess, just like we have for everything else.
Sure.
All right, please proceed.
Okay. Mr. Armstrong,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Ms. Hollyfield,
Yes.
Mr. Commercy,
Yes.
Mr. Lehman,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Pinchuk,
Yes.
and Ms. Stowe.
Yes.
Okay. Again, was unanimous to accept.
All right, so that concludes the business portion of tonight's meeting. But before we disconnect, I just want to add a couple things. This will be the last meeting, as I understand it, for both Kayvon and David. I want to express my appreciation for both of you guys. And I think you've done a good job on the board. You've had some very good questions and comments during your time here. And I think you'll be missed. But we understand that sometimes it's good to rotate around or move off. And so I just want to give an opportunity. We couldn't do this in person, but even virtually, to say thank you and best of luck for what you're planning in the future.
Well, thank you. I
Marty.
appreciate it.
And I hope you guys are staying involved with the town, some way, shape, or form.
Maybe in a few years.
Understand. Understand.
Thank you.
Marty,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm just curious. I mean, are they choosing to resign from the board, or is the term up for them?
It's my
I mean,
understanding.
is that inappropriate to ask that?
My term was up and I did not renew.
Okay, because we're gonna miss you.
Well, I miss you too. I can still come by and visit.
Have nobody to help me understand the architect stuff.
I second that. I'm going to miss both you guys. I'm going to miss David sitting next to me. That was always a lot of fun, David.
Thank you guys so much. I'm going to miss you.
Okay.
And Chairman, just as a sort of a, just an update, point two on that is with two members leaving the board, we would have had one vacancy. I think there's one applicant to fill one of those vacant positions who, so, we're probably gonna have the Board of Mayor and Aldermen adjust the membership back down to a 7-member board. That I think that's on their agenda for Thursday night's Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting. It's a charter amendment. Last year when the Board of Mayor and Aldermen decided to add a voting member from their body, it pushed the membership up to 8 members, which technically could allow for a tie vote. So we've proposed to the board that they sort of readdress the charter and bring the membership down to 6 appointed members from the larger community and 1 member from the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. So they'll probably be considering that change at their Thursday night meeting.
Okay. So that would bring us back to where we really were, which was 7 voting members. And you said that there is an applicant for the board. So with him being approved, if that happens, then we would have our allocated 7 members, right? So we'll be good.
Yep.
Okay. Was there anything else tonight we need to cover before we close?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, with that, let me just add one more thing. I think not everyone may have been on when I think you said earlier, Bart, that we most likely will meet in person next month. But we don't know how that looks yet. From what I understood you to say, it could be at Town Hall, it could be at the community center. More information will come out on that as we get closer to our meetings. So just wanted to throw that out there for anyone that missed that when we were talking before the meeting began. So with that, we will adjourn.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night, all.
Good night.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.